supervisors. Many of the people who have spoken have thrown around the number $100 million, and the board was gracious enough to allow some of us to come down here a year ago. And one of the things we asked for was that an audit be done, a limited audit of Sheriff Arpaio's accounts, and that was recently done by the county, and that turned out $99.4 million, as many people have said, illegally misspent. Not just we were going to spend it on one thing, we spent it on another. That money was used to harass citizens, to harass members of this board, to harass journalists. That's what that money was spent for. But that $100 million is only the tip of the iceberg. One of the things that I talked about when I presented here last year was the $12 million in additional insurance liability costs that Joe Arpaio has cost. The over $32 million paid out in settlements for his abuses of power. The $70 million in claims that are still out there right now. And tens of millions of dollars more. And so it doesn't just stop at the $100 million that many of my colleagues have talked about. Joe Arpaio spoke 2 weeks ago at a Tea Party rally down at the Capitol, and the theme of that rally was feet to the fire. And Mr. Arpaio got up and spoke and encouraged people to hold their elected officials feet to the fire and hold them accountable for their financial misdoings. And we are here today to ask Joe Arpaio to come down here. Don't send Sheridan down here. Don't send McIntyre. They're not the elected officials. Joe Arpaio's the elected official. And as Ms. Sandschafer just said, he says he only answers to the voters. Well, there's a lot of voters here who are asking him to come down personally and answer our concerns about his fiscal mismanagement and the mismanagement of his office that was apparent in the recent firings of his 3